Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me this week. So we're going to go into a practice of a little bit more grounding because during this time of year, it's easy to get caught up in all the things that need to be done and less focused on the present moment. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So finding your comfortable seated position. You can ground down through the hips, grow nice and tall through the spine, soften the shoulders. I'm sitting on a blanket to just help my pelvis tilt forward a little bit, so feel free to grab a blanket or maybe a pillow to sit on. That makes it feel a little bit more comfortable. And then closing your eyes or just softening your gaze down towards the floor. Taking a moment to notice into the breath. Just noticing how it's moving today, whether it's moving fast or slow, smooth or rough, whether it's staying higher up in the chest, already working its way a little deeper into the belly. And then just gently starting to rub the fingertips against each other, noticing into that sensation, what it feels like. And taking the hands and rubbing from the knees to the hips and from the hips to the knees. Just massaging out your legs a little bit, noticing what that feels like. And then taking the hands and just rubbing the knees in little circles and reversing the directions. Noticing what that feels like. And then just resting the palms down on the knees, finding a little bit of stillness. Noticing down into the hips and feeling the mat or the ground beneath you, that support, as well as any part of the legs or the feet that's touching the mat. Noticing in there. And then bringing your awareness back to the breath. Using the inhales to find a little bit more length. And the exhales soften you back down into the hips. Inhale, find a little bit more length. Exhale, soften, grow heavy into the hips. And then as you continue to breathe, start to pull the breath in a little bit deeper into the belly. So you start to feel that expansion in the belly. Maybe the chest lifts a little bit. So the inhale now lengthens and expands. And the exhale finds a little contraction and you soften back down into the hips. So inhale, lengthen, expand. Exhale, contract, soften. Taking 2 more of those breaths. And then the next inhale just reaches the arms up overhead, softening the shoulders down onto the back. Maybe you need to open the arms a little bit, or maybe you need to bring the arms in front of you a little bit. Maybe the pinkies turn in, finding what allows your shoulders to soften onto your back, continuing to find length in the spine. And then as you exhale, bring the hands back down beside you. So now the inhale finds length, reaching the arms up, keeping the shoulders soft. And the exhale brings the hands down beside you, softening, lowering down. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, lower, soften. One more, inhale. And exhale, lower it back down. Next inhale reaches the arms up. And then we'll bring the right hand down. Reach up through the fingertips, rooting down through the left hip. So up through the left fingertips, down through the left hip, finding that length. And the next exhale reaches the fingertips over towards the right, finding that side stretch. Gaze can go wherever it's comfortable for the neck. Notice into the shoulders and see if you can soften them. Next inhale brings you back to center. And then we'll switch it out. Left hand down, right fingertips straight up, right hip presses down, finding that length. And then as you exhale, bring it over. Finding a place for the gaze, for the neck, softening into the shoulders. Inhale, reach both arms up, interlace the fingers, press the palms up towards the sky. Exhale, press the palms away from you, feeling the shoulder blades separating on your back. And the inhale reaches it back up. Exhale, press the palms away. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, press it away. And inhale, reach it up. Last time, pressing it away on the exhale, and then release the hands, bring them behind you, creating a fist, starting to draw that fist down towards the mat, keeping the elbows soft, feeling the shoulder blades pulled together this time, feeling the chest open. And then maybe the chin drops down towards the chest, finding a little length on the back of the neck. And breathe into that length. And release the hands. We're going to find our way to all fours in our tabletop. And if your knees don't particularly enjoy being on a surface, like if you have a harder surface underneath your mat, my knees don't enjoy that particularly, so I like to bring a blanket underneath the knees. So finding your tabletop and starting to feel down into the mat here. So pressing the fingertips down into the mat and feel that almost press the weight forward in towards the knuckles, relieving a little bit of the pressure in the wrists, shoulder blades on your back. And then start to press down into the knees, shins, tops of the feet. If the toes are tucked, then into the toes. And as you press down, pressing the ground away, you start to feel the core engage, pulling that belly button in and up. Then we'll find a couple cat-cows. So as you inhale, drop the belly down, lift the tailbone, lift the gaze. As you exhale, arch the back, press the ground away. Inhale, drops the belly, lifts the gaze, finding your cow. Exhale, arch the back, drop the gaze towards the knees to the cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. One more. Inhale. And exhale. And then maybe just doing your cat-cow feels really good and you want to continue doing that. Maybe your body is looking for a little bit more movement, in which case as you exhale, arch the back, press the hips back towards the heels, find a quick child's pose, and as you inhale, scoop the chest low along the mat and all the way back up to your cow. Maybe you try that once or twice and it just doesn't feel as good as the original movement to you. You can always return back to that cat-cow movement. Just finding one or two more. Moving with your breath. And the next inhale finds your way back to your tabletop. And we're going to bring the right foot up in between the hands. We want the knee to stack over the ankle and the back hip to stack over the knee. Bring the hands to the shin, or the thigh, rather, lifting yourself back up. And we're going to start to root down through that front foot, stay nice and connected, but then start to press down through that back knee. Feel the tailbone tuck, and as you tilt the pelvis by tucking that tailbone, you're going to start to feel that stretch happening in that front thigh, the back thigh. So breathing into that. Inhale, reach the arms up, soften the shoulders down. Keeping that tailbone tucked. As you exhale, bend into the elbows. Feel the heart press forward a little bit. Elbows down to shoulder height. Inhale, reaches the hands back up. Exhale, open up. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, bend into the elbows. Inhale, reach. Last one, exhale. And inhale, reach it up. Exhale, bring the hands down, framing that front foot. And we're going to bring the right hand to the right hip. As you start to open the chest towards the right, feel that right hip press back, opening the chest, stacking the shoulders, and then maybe the right arm reaches up and open to this twist. Really pressing down through the front foot, gripping down through those left fingertips, staying connected to the mat beneath you. And then exhale, lower the right hand down. We're going to step this right foot all the way back to the back of our mat, tucking the toes behind. So we can start to press out through the heel, finding length along the back of the leg. And again, pressing down into all the parts of the body that's making connections with the mat. So the fingertips, left knee, shin, top of the foot, maybe the toes, and those right toes, pressing the ground away. And then lower the right knee down. We'll switch it out. So the left foot comes up between the hands. And again, we want to stack knee over ankle, hip over knee. Hands come up onto that thigh, lifting yourself up. And we'll start to root down through that back knee. Feel the tailbone tuck, feeling into that stretch. And then inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bend the elbows. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, bend the elbows. Inhale, 2 more. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale. And then we'll exhale, bring the hands down, frame that front foot. And then starting to root down into the right hand, left hand comes to the hip. Start to press that hip back as the shoulders open to the left, finding that twist. And then maybe the left arm reaches up, breathing into it, really finding that length through the spine. And then exhale, bring the hand down. We'll step the left foot all the way to the back of the mat, tucking the toes. Start to press out through that heel, gripping down through the fingertips, pressing down through that back shin, pressing down through the back toes. Breathing into the sensation along the back of that left leg. And then bringing the knee back down. We'll find a child's pose, so maybe allowing the knees to separate a little bit more. So as you press the hips back towards the heels, reaching the arms forward, gives you a little bit more space to soften the upper body down. And bringing the forehead or the chin onto the mat, whichever one allows you to continue to breathe. And if the forehead doesn't want to come onto the mat today, maybe you bring a pillow or a blanket underneath it. If you have a yoga block, maybe you bring a block underneath of it. Just supporting yourself, finding ways to fill in the gaps between you and the floor. So if your hips aren't touching the heels, again, maybe roll up a blanket and put it in between that space so that you can really rest the hips down on something. Growing heavy. And using the inhales to find a little bit more length in the spine and the exhales to soften. And the next inhale brings you up to your tabletop. And we'll swing the legs around, coming to sit. Going to sit on the edge of my blanket again, tilting my pelvis forward. Bringing the soles of your feet together so that the knees start to open up. You're going to find that nice long spine. So you have some options. You can bring the hands onto the feet and the elbows towards the knees, leaning it forward with that nice long spine. Just gently adding weight to the knees, encouraging the hips to open. Or you can bring the hands behind you, and from there, lift the heart, and the gravity starts to pull the knees down and opening the hips. So finding which one feels best. Maybe a little bit more heart opening, having the hands behind you feels really good. Or maybe you just feel like you get a better stretch with the hands in front of you, hinging forward. I prefer this one today because it has the added benefit of my hands being able to warm my very cold feet. So finding what feels best for you and breathing into it. Noticing into the sensations. Where are the sensations for you? Are they in the hips? Are the glutes? Maybe they're in the spine or the chest. The hands are behind you. And breathing into those sensations. But noticing if anything starts to hurt or sensations of pain. We never want to go there. So easing off to find a place where you can find a stretch without the pain. So if you're feeling pain in the spine from hinging forward, maybe you just lift it and feel the belly start to pull forward, keeping that spine nice and long. Just taking a few more breaths here. And then we'll use the hands to gently pull the knees back together. And we'll find our way down onto the back. So just rolling yourself down, finding your way onto your back. And then once you're there, draw the knees in and just take a gentle rock side to side, feeling the spine massage into the mat. And then we'll take a twist. So we're going to allow the knees to fall over to the left first. Just letting them fall. And the right arm might extend open to the right. And if it's comfortable with the neck, maybe the gaze goes to the right as well, softening that right shoulder down. So the closer the knees are up towards the chest, the more intense the twist will be. So maybe the knees move down towards the end of your mat, opening the hip crease a little bit in order to release some of that sensation in the spine. Maybe that feels good. Maybe it feels good to pull the knees up towards the chest. But again, finding that sensation and breathing into it. Really breathing in deep into the right side of the body, feeling the rise and the fall of the breath. And then gently drawing the knees back up. Maybe readjusting your hips to find that nice long spine. And then taking a gentle sway side to side, massaging the back into the mat again. And then we'll find the other side, allowing the knees to fall over to the right. And the left arm can open up at a T if it's comfortable. Gaze can go left. Again, finding where it's comfortable for your knees to be. If you have a gap in between the knees, maybe you bring something, a blanket or a block in between the knees. The top knee's not resting on the ground, you can support that there too. But again, breathing into the sensation along the left side, feeling the rise and the fall of the breath. Next inhale gently draws the knees back in. Find that gentle rock side to side one more time. Really noticing how it feels on the back to massage it into the ground. And then we'll extend the legs, finding our way to our Shavasana, our final resting pose. Bringing the arms down beside you, softening the shoulder blades underneath you. Feeling the support of the ground beneath you. Closing the eyes. Allowing the breath to return to its natural cadence. Not worrying about the time, I'll guide you out of it when it's time to go. So just taking the next few minutes and allowing yourself to rest. Gently start to draw your awareness back to your breath. Starting to rub the fingertips against each other again. Feeling into that sensation. Bringing back gentle movements into the body. Maybe wiggling the toes, rolling out through the ankles. Waking the body back up slowly and gently. And then finding any larger movements that feel good. Maybe reaching the arms up overhead for a full body stretch, or maybe bringing the knees in, finding a gentle rock side to side again. Whatever you feel like you need in this moment. And then rolling over onto your right side. Taking a breath or two there. And then when you're ready, gently pressing yourself back up, finding that seated position. Grounding back down through the hips, finding that length in the spine, bringing the hands to heart center. Starting to cultivate a feeling of gratitude. Gratitude for your practice and for your breath. Gratitude towards someone or something in your life. And gratitude for yourself. I wish to express my own gratitude to you for joining me today. Until we meet on our mats again, namaste.